Hey guys, what's up? This is Prowl, and I wanted to show you a way that you can level up incredibly fast in Diablo 4. Great method. Honestly, I think the best method, like 1 to 70, that you can do this. You're gonna level fast, you're gonna get a ton of gear, you're gonna get your vampiric powers leveled all the way up. It's just gonna take care of so many things, and it does it in that time frame of 1 to 70 where leveling is kind of quick. You don't need to pay a ton of attention to your gear. As long as you have a good build, this is gonna work very well for you. Now this is going to have to do with the blood harvest, and I always knew that the blood harvest was a good way to level up, but I never understood to what extent. I've seen a lot of videos with people recommending the best way to level. A lot of times that's going to have to do with going into a particular dungeon and just rerunning it over and over and over again and resetting it, and honestly that's boring and you don't really get a lot out of it other than experience points. This method is going to be a lot better for you, and I discovered this the other day when I was deciding to level up with my friends, and I knew that this was a good way to do it. So we wanted to jump straight into the blood harvest. So I started a level 1 necromancer here. You see where I'm level 1 down there, and I'm only 2 hours and 3 minutes into the stream. So in about an hour and 15 minutes, we got from level 1 to level 27. So we gained 26 levels in an hour and 15 minutes there. And then during the course of about my 4-hour second stream that I did, we started at level 29 and we ended up at about level 49 in this stream right here. So like in just 5.5 hours, we got all the way up to level 49 from scratch. And in total, I'm level 73 right now. I've had this character for about 12.5 hours of actual gameplay, and it has not only been rewarding from an experience perspective, but as you can see in my stash here, it's been really rewarding from a gear perspective too. I've cleared this out quite a bit, and I want to kind of show you what the rewarding parts of this are. And what you're going to do is you're going to want to go to the vampire zone, the green hell tide, if you will, because this is where you're going to get all of this XP and all of this loot. And it's actually so much loot to the point where if you run this right and you run it with a group of 4, you're actually, during the leveling process all the way up to 70, you're not going to want to pick up any yellows, or if you do pick them up, you're going to want to salvage them, because you're going to get so many legendaries while you do this that it's not going to make sense to pick up the yellows. It takes too much time away from the leveling process to actually go through them. Now, once you get into this area, you're going to want to look for a couple things, especially if you're solo. You're going to want to look for this, and that's the siphons. Now, if you're solo, what you're going to do is just hop on your horse and ride around until you see a decent pack of enemies, especially ones that have elites if you're on the higher difficulties, and just wipe those out. It doesn't take long to do if you have a decent build together, and it's actually extremely rewarding. As you can see here, we knocked out a whole bunch of enemies right there, probably like 30 or 40 or so, and it really just took a few seconds to do. Here's another group. We'll just knock those out. Anytime you see a group of elites, just stop and kill them, and that's going to get you a lot of XP, and immediately hop back on your horse, pick up all the loot, especially if you got any blood vials, and keep going. But we're going to look for a few things while we're going around. First of all, these caches right here, very important, because you're going to get some of the packs, which are nice to have, and you're going to get legendaries, which are going to be really nice to have as well. Now, I'm not sure if there's a map for this. I've tried looking around for one. I did not see one myself, but you're going to want to look for this, the vampiric siphon. This is the best event in the game, hands down, and let me show you how it works. First of all, we're going to clear all the mobs that are in the area here first, and if you're doing a vampiric siphon, you're going to want to make sure you have decent survivability. My character's not the best for it, but it's pretty good. And specifically what you're going to do with these and how they work is once you activate it, it's going to summon this little circle around you, and essentially an infinite number of mobs are going to continue to spawn around you, and your health is going to slowly drain down as you're inside of this siphon, until the point where either you have to get out of the siphon to not die, at which point the event ends, or you die and the event ends. But the longer you can stay in, the better, because the longer you stay in, the more mobs that appear and the more drops that you get. Especially if you can stay in for a long time, you end up getting quite a bit of the blood lures, which you need for running the main event in the main area. And also, oops, I got hit by some ice there. Let's use this. I'm trying to like concentrate and do this at the same time. Oh, I'm gonna die. 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 The ice gets me. You got to make sure you watch out for those. But essentially, you see here, I'm still going. I got another person here, which makes it a little bit harder for my character because I heal up based off of hitting and lucky hit chance. So as you can see, oh, we got some blood seekers in. Like, the more mobs that are around for me, the better. But I'm sitting here in the area. I'm going to start spamming my potions now because I want to stay alive as long as possible. We'll pick up more potions as we go through. And I'm about to die. I'm going to pop my Blood Mist, get a little bit more damage in, and I'm probably gonna die in here because these walls popping in. All right, I jumped out. I probably could have stayed in a little bit longer, but I think you kind of get it. We have a few more mobs in the area to clear out that were already spawned in. But you can see here all the blood lures that are around. So many. Like, we just got so many blood lures. You saw all the legendaries that we just picked up there. We got tons of ancestral yellows. Like, it is such a good event. Like, in just a minute, like, we just got all of this stuff just from going through and fighting one siphon. Now, I'm not sure exactly how these work, but I'm pretty sure there's just a couple preset areas that they spawn in. So now that we've completed this one, we may be able to come back and find it here again. And then we can also search the map in a couple of different spots and you'll see them. Now, if you're solo or on a group, siphons are great because they get you all of the blood lures. But where the real prize is, especially if you group up, is this guy right here, the blood harvest. But this area right here is where you're going to want to go. So whenever you get yourself, either if you're solo, 150 blood lures, or if you're in a group, when each member has at least 50, come over here and start setting these petals. Oh, is this another siphon? No, it's not. I thought it was a siphon. And this right here is where I could tell you that the money maker is in a group. Here, let me show you by hopping back over and taking a look at the live stream from the other day. And you can see here we are with my group of 4 and we're at the blood harvest area. And what we were able to do between the 4 of us is almost perpetually run the blood harvest. Because when you have 4 people, you get so many blood lures that you can almost continually run the harvest non-stop. And if you happen to have another group that sometimes comes in and drops some of the blood lures into one of the altars to summon the main event, the boss here, then it's just going to make that process happen even faster. And every once in a while, when you run out of blood lures, if it's just the 4 of you, you can go find a siphon and easily fill back up from one siphon run. And then you can kind of see here on screen when I pause here, the 3 different bosses here were defeated by my group. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sacreds right there. That's not counting any that spawned in before this, which usually there could be a couple. And then usually at the end of the event, you attract the blood seekers as well, which we should see those guys show up here in just a minute. But actually, it looks like I had so much loot, I had to go back to town. Let's skip ahead again. And you can see actually we're running the event again already, just like a minute or 2 later. And you go through, you get all of the legendaries that drop, and you just get so much loot while doing this that you end up having to go back to town after every run if you're picking up the yellows. And if you're not picking up the yellows and you're only picking up your legendaries, you're still going to have to go back to town about every 2 runs or so because you get so many of them. My recommendation for you, it's up to you, of course, but pick up the yellows and just start salvaging them. Just don't even look at them. Just salvage all, get rid of all the yellows and only look at your legendaries. It's going to save time, so you're more time in game, like actually fighting mobs and getting the levels. And then once you start getting up to a higher level, like once you hit, about 70, you get to the last world tier. That's the point where you're going to want to slow down a little bit, start to look at all of your gear, because then you're going to start finding some things that you're going to use for nightmare dungeons and boss runs and that sort of thing. Oh, one thing I almost forgot, while doing this, you're going to fill up your whispers every single time the harvest moves, maybe twice sometimes, depending on how many you had going in. So make sure you turn in those whispers as often as possible. You're going to get a ton of gold by doing that, a little bit of extra loot as well. So make sure you constantly go through, look for your whisper events to be done, and turn those in and get the rewards. So that's it. We got another siphon here. I'm going to fight it. This is by far the best way to level up to about 70 and the best way to gear up to about 70. Also, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you need to get more aspects because you want to carry a few extras for as you go through and get geared up for that late game end game setup, and having extra aspects allows you to switch out gear a little bit more often, come here and do this event and do the main event there in the center, because this is where you're going to get all of that gear from, and you can start farming aspects pretty easily when you do this, farming XP along the way, and get a ton of salvage materials if you happen to find that you need them. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel, drop the video a like, and make sure you catch me here on live stream. I do stream Diablo IV as well as many other games pretty consistently, but for now I'm going to go ahead and finish this fight and get this video out to you guys. Thanks so much, and you have yourselves a good one. Bye.